off, this episode's cringe moment is different than most of our cringe moments because we actually don't have a video. I mean, there's video, but like it's not good video, or like you're not really going to get anything out of the video. Um, but I figured it fits here in this cringe moment because let's just be fair, it was cringe, and I think most people reacted to this online as this really, really was cringe. What I'm talking about is that the Trump administration had pumped up the fact that they were going to release the Epstein files. They had said, tomorrow's the day we're going to release the Epstein files. And it is a big thing. They invited a whole bunch of conservative influencers to the White House. DC Drano, Chad Panther, is that how you say practice? I don't know.
I thought it was Prather, but I could be wrong.
Chad, whatever, big cowboy hat.
Got somebody.
Liz Wheeler, former OAN person. House and Habit was also, I guess, there. Libs of TikTok was there. So a bunch of influencers online. And I think you were the first one to text me to say that they were giving it to the influencers. And I thought to myself, I was like, maybe they figure they're the media. So give it to them before it goes through the filter of the media. And then I saw the videos and I saw them hoisting them high and showing the people in the cameras and showing off their binders that they got. And they were all excited and they were all like, look, we got the binders. And then it got even worse because they opened them all up and it was all stuff we already knew. It was redacted stuff that's actually unredacted on the internet that you can go find. So it was really cringe because it was just handled really poorly. What are your thoughts about this whole Epstein file rollout?
I believe it was bad optics for the White House. I don't blame any influencer who was there. Allegedly, they were there for a different event when the files came out, and Attorney General Pam Bondi printed up these binders for them.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said to you, and I don't want to speak for you, but I think not that there's any reason that we would have been invited, but I think had we been invited, I think we would absolutely jumped at the chance without thinking about the backlash and the optics of it. It would have just been like, we're invited to this exclusive moment at the White House. Of course we're gonna go. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody would say no to that. And
Mm-hmm.
and so I feel like these group of influencers actually kind of used like it, and I don't know for what. It felt like they were like pawns in some weird game because yes, they went to whatever meeting and then they were like, oh look, we've got these binders for you of these Epstein files that are going to be released in a few hours. Do
Mm-hmm.
what you will with them, and some of them put some stuff behind a paywall. It's like if you subscribe to my private channel, my Substack, whatever, then I'm going to share this information. So it was kind of like giving them an opportunity to monetize off of public information, or that like public interest information, I should say. And then, like you said, it turns out it was information that was already out there. The
Mm-hmm.
unredacted information is out there, and they were given a bunch of printed redacted information. Nothing new came out like we were promised. And
Mm-hmm.
I felt like, and I'm not one to be like, so what real story are they trying to cover up? But I felt like something else must be going on, that they're trying to push the attention onto this, the White House, that is. That was kind of my gut reaction to it. Was like, what's really happening? What story are we trying to bury elsewhere?
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah,
generally don't feel that way.
I don't know if this was damage control, but that same night I saw some people, like our good friend Anthony, say that he heard from sources inside the White House that it was totally uncoordinated on Pam Bondi's part, that she went ahead with it, that she did not clear it with the White House how she was going to do this with the influencers and all this stuff. She was also upset that the files she got from the FBI, it's just a lot of finger pointing and blame
Yeah,
game, and it looks really bad, and it looks really bad when you talk about being the most transparent administration in
right.
history. It was just a bad look. I'm not going to fault the whole administration and say I'm not listening to them from here on out. Administrations are going to have fumbles. They're not going to nail
Correct.
everything. I think even the influencers felt like they got used a little bit. There was a point where someone pointed out that all of them had the same exact talking points where they all literally tweeted the same exact thing, which seemed like scripted talking points that they were given. I think it was like all DC Drano and Jack Poswiak and like Chad Brett, they all had like the same talking points, which were weird. And they're all pointing fingers at each other, saying no, that's not true. It's a complete mess on their part. And I feel like the people who tried to monetize this information that people have been waiting for, that they were expecting, or that they were duped into thinking like, oh, if I pay, I'll get like exclusive access to these Epstein files, when other influencers were already offering it or talking about it. It seems, like, I don't know, shameful might be the right word, or it might seem selfish or narrow sighted in the sense of like, okay, you were given this opportunity by the administration, the White House, to get this information, get it out to your followers, not be a filter and not be the media who goes through it first and then picks and chooses. It was an opportunity for like the independent media, which the Trump administration is trying to promote more of, because let's be honest, the independent media did help him get elected. Podcasts and stuff like that helped him get elected. So I could see why they might have thought giving it to influencers was a good idea. Give it to the influencers, let them tell all their followers. It gets out there on the internet before CNN or MSNBC has a chance to go through it with a fine tooth comb and edit it and put the narrative out there already. Um, but overall, it was just a really, really bad look. And I hopefully phase 2 of the Epstein files actually has a little bit more substance to it than what we've seen already. Not rehash stuff that's been redacted, that's unredacted. But we'll see. And not a great rollout, not a great look. Definitely cringe in the sense of like, it just, yeah, I don't know. Did I mention it? I saw someone talk about how they are now the PR agents of the administration. This way, it kind of feels like they're running public relations on behalf of the administration. I don't know. I agree with that, if that's, you're going to be kind of touting that line. So what are
Yeah.
your thoughts?
I Technology these days is amazing, and it took time to photocopy and print up and put together those binders. But I feel like at that same amount of time, those files could have been scanned, and the White House could have just put them online and
Yeah.
announced here they are. And so, um, again, I don't blame any of the influencers who were there. That I just don't think that they thought about the backlash and optics, and I don't agree with them getting all the backlash. Now it's turned into Laura Loomer's like going after everybody, and she's blocking everybody, and then Pam Bondi's personal account has blocked her personal,
Yeah.
not her attorney general account. Just stuff like that, which is, this issue's going to blow over so quickly. We're talking about it, yes, because we're talking about it like it was a cringe moment. And, new news is going to come out today or tomorrow that we're all going to be talking about. We're going to forget about this. But it is kind of funny how this has become like these women in their 40s and 50s are fighting online and blocking each other. That adds an extra layer of cringe on top of this.
Yeah.
And yes, these influencers and their podcasts and their social media accounts did help with getting, they were upfront and personal with the Trump during his run, during his election, and it did help. They were getting like real information out in real time, and people were seeing a different perspective. And I do believe that did help get him elected. And so you can see how he would be like, here's a little token of my appreciation. Let me invite you all to the White House. But again, just in this particular situation, it was just bad optics.
Hmm. Um, well, I mean, we already got news on Friday, was it, when Zelensky showed up? I feel like it already blew over once the whole Zelensky thing out. We're not going to talk about the Zelensky thing, but that was one of the first thoughts I had was, well, there goes that whole debacle over the Epstein files. Now everyone's talking about what happened in the Oval Office. So that's politics for you.
Yeah,
24-hour news cycle, it's a big deal. And then before you know it, especially with this administration, it feels like before you know it, we were already onto another thing. And it's just like
absolutely.
trying to keep up is a lot of work.